In one age, called the Third Age by some,
An age yet to come.
an age long past,
A wind rose on the Geek at Arms podcast.
the wind was not the beginning,
There are neither beginnings,
nor endings to the turning of the Wheel of Time.
but it was a beginning.
Welcome to Woolheads, a Wheel of Time podcast by Geek at Arms. I'm Brian, and here's a man that I think surely must be Taviran. It's James.
The light illume you, Brian.
And you as well, James.
And the light illumine all of our listeners, too. If this is your first time listening, why are you starting in the middle? But also, we spoil everything here, books and show alike. So if you've never read the novels, we love you, but go away. Don't want to ruin the magic.
If they're starting right now, that is fine. The wheel weaves as the wheel will.
Yes, indeed. Well, last time we got an inkling of what motivated the Forsaken and their servants to forswear the light.
Mm-hmm.
Now that question's been presented quite openly to Rand, and it sounds like he's given in.
Yeah.
Episode 6, Eyes Without Pity, has us rushing toward the end of the season and the battle at Falme.
All roads lead to Falme.
And I do mean rushing.
Yeah.
There's only 2 more episodes, and the writing's starting to feel a little crowded and frantic.
Especially considering that this was a much slower paced episode than we've gotten in the last few. Not as much happened. We did get an interesting fight scene here, but I don't know. With as much ground as they have to cover and how many episodes are left, they've got a lot to do.
Yeah, it did feel a little like treading water, particularly the stuff with Rand and Moiraine. It's like, are we going? We're not going. Are we going? Oh, no, we're not going. And now, oh, we're definitely not going.
Yeah. I was excited for a moment because I thought, ooh, we're about to get the Matt and Rand road trip part 2. And it didn't happen.
Right. Let's talk about VFX just a little bit because, as you know, I am a VFX artist. Swan's Crown of Swords effect.
Yes.
I want that shot for my reel. That looked so good.
At first, I was wondering what she was going to be. Well, not casting is the wrong word. Weaving, and then the blades appeared, and she turned, and the blades turned with her. I'm like, oh,
yes.
They opened the door and they showed that it was Lan, and I was disappointed.
Yeah, because you wanted to see them used, right?
I was like, oh, please. I feel so sorry, but I don't for the bad guy who's going to open that door. I'm like, oh, it's just Lan. Boo.
Oh, darn it, we can't kill him.
Yeah, he's got plot armor.
But the effects are making me wonder, why haven't I tried to get work at Cinesite?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's because they're in London or Vancouver, but still. Check out the Wheel of Time page on their website. It has a really cool breakdown of the one power weave effects, the different colors that they use and how they combine.
We spend quite a bit of time in the world of dreams in this episode. And the cool effect of like people entering and leaving Teleron and Rio.
Yeah.
Like their bodies just kind of falling apart or reassembling. It only happens a couple of times, but it stood out to me. Like that looks very cool. That's someone using their imagination.
And it was the same effect as we saw when Ashamael was, quote, destroyed at the end of the first season. It was that same effect. Yeah. So that whole thing at the Eye of the World took place in Tel Air and Riod, apparently.
Makes sense.
And the little jump cuts that they do, that the discontinuities that you get when you're dreaming, I thought that's kind of cool. It's very simple, but it's effective.
I agree. We do spend a lot of time with Egwene in this episode. Mm-hmm. And continuing the tradition of just dipping their toe in the horror genre, we do see some interesting effects when Egwene goes to reach for the Adame for the first time. Mm-hmm. That had to have been an effect, the way that her hand and her arm distorted, the way she racked her body. Part of it was probably the actress, but I think some of it was effects with the actress distorting her own body, just the way her hand bent. And I'm like, okay, either that's really cool effect to make it look a touch of body horror, or that actress is just incredibly limber.
Have you ever had a cramp that just twists one of your limbs like that?
Yes, I have, actually.
I was re-experiencing that as I was watching her. I was like, oh man, that is effective.
The way the rest of her body stiffened up from it felt totally realistic. And you're with her. You're like, back away, back away.
Mm-hmm. Some of the other effects, like the vibration and blurry thing that they were doing when she was being punished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It got old.
Okay.
It got old.
Yeah.
Overused. I do want to talk about the music for a moment. Much of the music in this show has been okay. We've talked about this before.
It's understated.
Very understated. I really liked the music with the scenes with Egwene being trained. A lot of bass, not rhythmic, but melodious bass notes. It was very reminiscent of scenes in Return of the Jedi featuring Darth Vader. Very low, very sinister sounding. I'm
going to have to watch it for a third time to pick that up.
Just the musical undertones stating whatever is happening in this scene is evil.
Mm-hmm. And, speaking of that scene and so forth, the acting, Madeleine Madden, you're doing a fantastic job. I mean,
you are killing it as Egwene Alvear.
Maybe a little over the top in the last two shots, but the scene leading up to that was, I was in tears. That was horrifying and wonderful and amazing.
It's so easy to sympathize with her and what she's going through and to feel every single bit of it with her anger, her fear, her frustration. Now, she's doing a wonderful job. Who says there's not good acting in fantasy genre shows?
Yeah, I think we've left that behind for the most part. There's still some stinkers out there, but I think that the genre has been elevated the last few years.
I agree completely. And once again, sticking with the whole dipping their toe into the body horror thing, the one fight scene that we do have between a yellow Aja, a yellow sister, and her warder.
Oh gosh,
which I fell in love with those two. I forget the sister's name. She was just Rima and her warder. They were so fun. I liked them so much, and once again, it was a lovely balance, almost a dance of a warder and Aes Sedai working together. And when
I wasn't entirely sure what she did when he passed in front of her. Was she enhancing him somehow?
I didn't see anything go from her to him. I think it was just them meeting eyes.
She was just weaving around him.
Yeah, I think it was just meant to give the audience the impression that these two were in sync.
And it did.
Yeah. The way that she takes out I forget, are the ones who are leashed called the sul'dam?
Yeah.
Well, no, she doesn't take out the sul'dam. She takes out the Merith Damane.
The Damani is the leashed one.
Okay.
The sul'dam is the controller. Merith Damani is one who should be leashed. It's yeah.
Hey, listeners, let me ask y'all a question. Do you like names? Do you like a series that has lots and lots of names and half the names sound exactly like each other and the other half, whether they're things or people, they don't sound like anything else anywhere? Then have I got a series for you.
Except for the ones that sound kind of like something else.
Anyway, she attacks the sul'dam, the ones controlling. And did you see her working her fingers? And she's basically folding him into a pretzel. And
yeah, well, it was distinctly a yellow Aja thing. She was giving her a disease at one point, and then folding her up. It's like that is the way the yellow Aja would fight. Yeah,
someone who terrifying. Has a deep knowledge of human anatomy.
There's no fireballs here. We're just gonna break you.
And for the record, I think that the rest of the Seanchan, who you see like a couple of dozen walk around the corner, they had laid eyes on her. There should have been like a look. They rush in, see her crumpled into a cube on the ground, look back up and go, nope, and walk right back out. Because I would have, if I'd seen that, I would.
Nobody came at her with a sword.
Yeah, that's very true. It broke my heart when we see her get leashed. I had a feeling in my gut that it was going to happen. And I did like the moment of she's begging her warder, do it. Kill me. Like, you're asking too much, sweetie. He can't.
Yeah.
What warder could?
In the book, Rima had already been leashed by the time Egwene was captured. So we never got to see her free in the novel. She was like halfway to being broken already. And I think that she and Basan are kind of shortchanged by the fast pace of the season. If we had 2 more episodes, I think there'd be more. We said that for the first season too.
Yeah.
But in spite of that, I loved how much of them that we did get to see.
Yeah, they deserved more, especially the actor and actress who played them. They did them so well.
But I suspect we're going to see more of Rima in the next episode.
I hope so. You know what I enjoyed about their look, their getup? Afro-centered fantasy is something that we see basically none of. And to see whose costuming looks like it could be influenced by that was beautiful.
I made a note of Basan's costume also. I really liked it.
Everything about him. Everything about both of them. I hope that she is not someone who her fate gets either left on the cutting room floor or as a fatality to main character syndrome. Because I think she was one of the way that she was also talking to Nynaeve.
Yes.
The way that she was just talking plainly to her, giving her simple encouragement, saying, hey, this is no different than someone coming to you needing healing. She's talking to her like a healer to a healer. And like that's what's going to help Nynaeve break through her block.
But she was also Aes Sedaiing her hard.
Oh, totally hard. Yeah.
She didn't give the special mission to Elayne because Elaine's already dedicated. She's like, no, Nynaeve, you have to take this to the White Tower. It's up to you. You're my sister. It's like, oh, wow, yeah. Laying it on thick.
Yep. Even when faced with certain death, an Aes Sedai is going to Aes Sedai.
Yep. It was a terrific example of their soft and almost invisible manipulations that they do.
Well, they do like to claim that they invented the game. And once again, we've talked about this a lot. We're probably only going to get 8 episodes this season. We need more. At least 10. I think 12 would have been spot on.
Yeah. I think specifically this episode, you said there not much happened, but the things that did happen, I think wanted more time, especially Egwene's storyline.
Agreed.
Because I can't help but stack this one up against Babylon 5's Intersections in Real Time or Star Trek's Chain of Command Part 2.
Yes.
And Madden is obviously up for the challenge. I'm not sure about the actress playing Rena, but I think this could have been a really great, psychological manipulation episode.
I agree.
They undercut it by having Rena brutalize her instead of from the book. It was this sweet, gentle degradation.
Yeah.
A lot more Dolores Umbridge and less Torquemada.
I equated it to, and this analogy gets brought up in the book by a different person. The way that you train or that you start to break a horse is that you start it by gently touching it. A little bit here, a little bit there, more and more until it starts to trust the hand, and then it expects the hand, then it wants the hand. And now that was a very vivacious woman talking about a man, Perrin specifically, but the analogy stands here as well.
Right.
Yeah. But speaking of
romance, torture, whatever.
It's a thin line between the two. Moving on. This kind of goes into my Copland talk. I know the episode was called Eyes Without Pity, but really it should have been called The Breaking of Egwene. Now,
I don't know whose eyes they were talking about, because that's a reference to a chapter in The Eye of the World, and in there, the Eyes Without Pity were the ravens. There were no ravens in this episode. I don't know whose eyes were without pity here.
I'm guessing Egwene's trainer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I knew
symbol
that
of the Seanchan throne is the raven. Interesting.
So
I'm sure that was accidental.
Probably. Too much symbology with them. Way too much.
Okay.
But I knew that this was going to come. Seeing a person, specifically a woman, tortured like this, physically and mentally, it just always gets to me. Especially when, after... What is the woman's name? The Seanchan who's training her?
Rena.
Rena, thank you. Especially when Rena has Egwene channel reaching out to the tree and making it catch on fire. She's like, here, pour the water. And Egwene takes it and just she either takes her or she pours it out. Rena throws her to the ground and starts kicking her.
She reached for the pitcher and couldn't grab it because she still
That's right.
was thinking of it as a weapon.
But still, I mean,
But the
particulars are
results
aside.
of-
Results are the same. I don't know. I'm a big fan of show, don't tell, but I think in this case, I would have rather had just a little bit. Oh yeah,
a little more off screen.
A little more off screen, a little bit on screen.
And again, I think that was not the best way to approach this particular relationship.
Agreed.
Because it would have been much better with the treating her like a misbehaving puppy, like it happened in the books, because that would be.
Which you think that we're going to get that when she finds out Egwene's name. It's like, oh, that's a lovely name. It's like some people think that the Mane must be broken. I believe that it is better when you cultivate a friendship with them.
Yeah.
Like that gets thrown out in about 24 hours, sweetheart. Okay, but a lot of patience you're showing. This is why you're not allowed down at the dog kennel anymore.
Yeah.
No more puppies for you. For either you or Leandrin.
Right.
Something that bummed me out is that we finally get to hear an Ogier tree sing. Unhappy that it happened while he was in change.
Yeah. It was cool though. I liked the interpretation of the tree singing.
Agreed. A lot of puking in this episode. Did you notice that?
It hadn't occurred to me to notice it, but yes, in retrospect, there was more than average for this show.
Yeah.
Too much puking, not enough bathing.
Well, one usually comes before the other. So the next episode, everyone takes a bath.
So are we done with our Copland talk?
Oh, not even close. I'll get through these fast. One thing I noticed when we're in Teleron-Riud, and this is a continuation of the last scene of the last episode, we see Rand shirtless in Lanfear's dream because, of course, hashtag Lanfear. These people from Edmondsfield are supposed to be farmers, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Why
Rand was primarily a shepherd.
Well, still.
Yeah, most of them are farmers.
Yeah. Yeah. How come none of them have farmers' tans?
Well, because it's cold in the two rivers, and they have to wear long sleeves.
And head protection, and neck protection. And apparently they put something on their faces and hands. It's just...
They lived in the Misty Mountains. It's never sunny.
I guess that's why. I already talked about how I was bummed that we are denied the Matt Rand buddy trip that we should have gotten in season 1. We like, oh, but they traveled together. Okay, no, they kind of traveled together. That was not what I wanted, though. Okay?
They were bickering the entire time.
Exactly. Yeah. Also, Min's vision of Matt flat out killing Rand. Is that a product of the show, or was there a similar scenario in the books?
I don't recall anything of that sort in the books. I think that's just the show.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And I'm wondering now if it's even real, if maybe Ishamael forged that vision. Because otherwise, it wrecks Min's ability, because what she sees and knows is going to happen will happen.
Yeah.
There's no avoiding it.
And I also don't believe Ishamael's promise of, I will take away your curse. Yeah. If you've seen any show where the villain makes a promise, he's going to take away the curse by killing you, dear. Okay? That also...
Don't they call you the father of lies?
Yeah.
Betrayer of hope? Wasn't that a thing?
I blame the Cairhienin education system. I don't know where she grew up.
In the book, it was Baerlon. Who knows about the show? She looks... I don't know what she looks in terms of...
We'll say she's from Tyr. I don't know. Anyway, she looks like she's from one of the northern kingdoms.
Yeah, Shianar was largely Asian influence, it looked like, and Lan has that Korean thing going on.
Yep.
So, Borderlander, probably. Borderlander, probably.
Borderlander, yes. You have to say it with a deeper voice. Borderlander.
Just saying it without my voice cracking would be good.
Well, that wrapped up my Copland talk.
Okay. Well, then, for things that I think are a little bit more positive, Rand getting in way deeper with Lanfear, I think is a good move at this junction in the context of the show, because we don't have his friends around him, wondering if he's going to go insane. So he desperately needs a little bit more drama in his life.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, he doesn't need it, but we need it for him, right?
I was worried when Ishmael entered Rand's dream worried about where this was going to go. I wasn't expecting it to happen in this episode. But then Lanfear shows up and gives me my favorite line of the entire episode. Is she, dear?
Is she, dear?
I had to pause the show because I'm just laughing on the couch going, she called him, is she? I can't call him anything else now.
That always was his nickname in the fan community. So
really,
I love that they, on board that we called him Ishi because writing straw mail all the time was obnoxious.
That makes it even better. Ishi. Oh man. But speaking of Lanfear, I really enjoyed the scene between her and Liandrin.
Oh yeah.
Talk about emotionally charged.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anyone else walks into this room with Liandrin and her son, it's an insta-kill. Like, Nynaeve survived by the skin of her teeth.
Mm-hmm.
I like Lanfear's line. You got, like, oh, okay, you get one. The next time I'll flay your bones. And Liandrin is just so used to being the one in charge. And this is her safe space. This is her fortress of solitude. This is the place where no one else comes. And then one of the Forsaken just walks in. And you can tell she's flummoxed. She is so uncomfortable. Her greatest...
And Lanfear takes with both hands.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh, you sold your soul to save your son. Well, we're just going to go ahead and kill him anyway.
I'm doing what only another woman could do for you. I am free. The way she manipulates her, the language that's used. It's like, I'm taking, you made your pact. Oh, and you've made it. There's no going back on it. But this is to free you. Okay, I'm doing you a favor. You should thank me.
And she believes that too.
Yeah. Well, believing or not, it doesn't matter. She's chosen her path. But now it makes me wonder. We're about to have a Liandrin Unchained.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that tie back to Tar Valon's no longer there. You're right.
Mm-hmm. No fear about anyone finding out. And we'll see what happens with the character next. It's going to be an interesting dynamic.
That kind of changes the way I thought things. I was kind of liking that she had this vulnerability and this tie back to Tar Valon, but now that's gone. So that upends kind of some of my theories.
Same. I sincerely loved the reunion between Mat and Rand.
Yes.
It was just what I was hoping for. I mean, you could see the emotion on their face, specifically Mat. And it felt genuine and real.
And this is the first scene we've had with these two actors together.
And I'm going to go back to this again in a moment, but I just want to talk about Donal Finn's Mat. You and I talked quite a bit about how much we enjoyed the season 1 Mat. He was excellent to watch. We really enjoyed him. But we can also really enjoy this new Mat as well, without taking away anything from the first season. It's kind of like Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I
liked the performance. I didn't like the characterization.
Fair. Yeah. I agree with that 100%. I thought the Mat from the first season, excellent acting, but I don't like how he was written.
Yeah.
And that's not his fault. He's doing the best that he can with the material that he was given. But I think that along with this new character, hopefully the writers have listened to some of the criticism, because this season's Mat is far more in line with how we envisioned Mat to truly be. Is he perfect to put Mac? Of course not. That's not what this series is about. Yeah. But it's truer to the core character of who Mat is. Someone who's a scamp. Someone who loves to gamble, loves to drink, bounce a woman on his knee, get in some trouble.
Somebody who can take pleasure in his life.
Exactly. But he's also going to be there for his friends. And people
except for when he isn't.
Yeah, but I know you're going to. Some people will criticize him, like, but he didn't go with Rand. No, he didn't, because he really believed that by doing so was going to save Rand's life. Because, and this is something I believe needs to be more of a focus in this show, is not the friendship, but the brotherhood of Rand, Mat, and Perrin. These three boys were basically each other's brothers in the Two Rivers. I mean, within months apart of age, growing up together, laughing together, playing together, getting into trouble together, falling in love with the same girls, apparently, according to the show anyway. And Rand's dad was Mat's dad, and Mat knew his parents. parents. Say that 10 times fast.
I would rather not.
But you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There truly was a brotherhood between these three central characters. I mean, they're even Varen together. And I want to see more of that in this show. I'm hoping that when all of these paths cross in Falme, that we'll begin to see that. There needs to be the tier for. There needs to be Mat and Rand going to Falme, Perrin finding them, Perrin seeing Mat like, Perrin seeing Rand like, you're still alive, like, pulling him to a crushing bear hug. Mat smiling to himself, wiping a tear away, and then you see Perrin's fist, fly out from off screen, grab him by the shirt, pull him into the hug too. I don't know when Amazon is listening, but if you are, make that happen. Just make it happen.
We definitely need more of that those relationships.
We do.
Positive relationships, not always drama and soap.
Exactly. We're getting good female relationships between Nynaeve, Egwene, and Elayne. Guys,
I wanted to talk about Elayne for a second, actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because she's got this wonderful regal thing going on. It's like she's firm, she's positive about what she's doing. No, we're staying here and we're going to rescue our friend.
Mm-hmm.
But she's polite to Rima. And her relationship with Nynaeve, you can see there's just a little bit of exasperation. We know that's going to grow later on, but what is her name? I don't remember. The actress.
Kiara Coveney.
Something like that. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm looking at her page right now, but I've fallen in love with her, Elayne. I love why are you wanting to do this? You barely know her. She's my friend.
Yes.
It's like, but you barely know her. I didn't have any friends growing up. She's my friend. There's a finality to that statement. I'm staying for her. Period. End of story.
Totally see her as a queen in training.
Oh, yes.
One other interesting change. A temple to the Forsaken. This is something that has no place in the books. I mean, every dark friend we encounter, a couple of them knew one another and had relationships, but the idea that there's a place where they would assemble is completely new. And
I thought it was more like a temple to a specific Forsaken. Like, this is a temple to Grindal or to Lanfear or one of the others. So I don't know. That's where my mind went. Not a temple to all the Forsaken, because I could definitely see quite a few of the Forsaken building up a temple to themselves, like, worship me.
Yeah. But it's like the Black religion of Middle-earth. It's implied that, there's some kind of religion around the Dark One, but it's never really detailed. Mm-hmm. And I think this is another indication that the show's taking religion a little bit more seriously than Jordan himself did. I really like it.
Agreed. Do we have any other changes that we liked, or shall we look to the future?
There were more, but I think I'm ready for some theory crafting.
So the Amyrlin has come to Cairhienin, and she has come with an entourage. And somehow she picked up Liandrin on the way. Don't know when that happened. And Liandrin...
I assume that she must have been almost all the way back to Tar-Valon and just said, okay, just send a messenger forward and get these ladies down here
I'm going to turn around. The rest of you are going to ride double time. Make it snappy, girls. I see that she is going to be taking charge of Rand, or going to try to take charge of Rand and all of that.
I think this is going to be the audience that was supposed to have happened in Fal Dara at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Because we've got most of the same Aes Sedai. We've got Liandrin, Alana, Liani, and Varen. And Moiraine mentioned Anaya, so she's probably there too. The only one who can't be there is Megan, because obviously she's been captured by the Seanchan.
Yeah.
And based on the preview for the next episode, I think we're finally going to get a Rand and Lan training session, at least one. I'm hoping for a training montage, parallel training montages with Rand and Lan and Rand and Logain.
We're going to need some snappy 80s synth music to make up for time. I hope
I could go without that, but...
I can't. I want that desperately. Moving on. I think that would be cool to see. I don't think that it's going to end with the Amyrlin letting Moiraine take Rand and company to Falme. I think what's going to happen is that Rand is going to end up in kind of house arrest, but is going to be allowed to train with Logain, allowed to train with the sword, and because we like you said, we do need to see some scenes of Lan and Rand together.
Mm-hmm.
what I think is going to happen is that Matt's going to be the one to break him out.
Oh, that could be good. Yeah.
And Rand like, where were you? Like, okay, so I was a few minutes late. I'm sorry.
Better late than never.
So you said you were going to be. I thought you weren't going to come. Like, I met a cute girl. Okay, forgiven. Let's go.
Did I say an hour? Oh, sorry. I thought I said 2.
Yeah. Typical Matt.
Yes, but it's been 2 months since then.
It's been 2 months since then. So Matt will break him out. Maybe Moiraine will try to go with them because she's kind of persona non grata with the Aes Sedai right now. And they'll go to make their way to Falme.
Oh, I see it. Moiraine talks Matt into breaking him out.
I could see that too. Maybe not talks,
Yeah.
but maybe nudges him. Well, it's all the same, really.
Right. He says something arch, and he does what he wants, which happens to be what she wants.
I do think that we need to see more training with Logain, because if anyone is going to remove the block from Moiraine, it's got to be Rand.
Yeah, that's true.
He's like, yes, Logain's been training me. I can see the weaves. And wait, there's something around you. What are you talking about? There's something right there. Get it off. No, it's not a spider. He reaches, okay, no, don't do it. No, it'll be fine. Don't do it. Click, boom. And she goes flying through a wall. And but she can, that might be a little too slapsticky for it. But, the end result,
Maybe, yeah.
The end result will be the same. But anyway, as I've said the last 3 times, on to Falme.
Yes. I have one more theory. Jonas, the Damodred servant, has been singled out now in 2 episodes. I think he's going to be more important. He's got to have some kind of importance. They've drawn too much attention to him. So Darkfriend, maybe?
Damodred's.
Or
okay. The older
the
gentleman.
guy that Moiraine, the old guy that Moiraine gave the letter to.
So it's like Chekhov's gun, but it's Chekhov's manservant.
Yes.
Quite possible. That would be interesting and heartbreaking, because he kind of does give off a Alfred vibe, as someone who's just kind of in the background, is older, caring, loving, but also very capable. As long as it's not the nephew who's going to be king. Although
I was thinking kind of more of a creature from Harry Potter vibe.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But maybe that's just because he's hunched.
Well, what we don't know is the hunch is the creature.
Ooh.
It never sleeps. It is always awake except when I drink. Oh, sorry. I'm crossing shows. Sorry. Speaking of Babylon 5.
We already talked about Babylon 5 this episode. We can't do it again.
Well, I think that will probably wrap it up for us.
I think so too. So until next time, peace favor your sword.